أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والتين والزيتون وطور سينين هذا بلد الأمين. لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن التقويم ثم رددناه أسفل السافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Tonight we have gathered to celebrate the birthday Wiladat Agha Ali ibn Musa Raza. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. As we think about the life of Imam Raza alayhi salam, he has been a true ni'mat and blessing for the people of Iran, which I'm from. And for someone who was born in Medina and being traveling to Iran is nothing but taqdeer of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he should be actually traveling all this distance by taqdeer of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Ma'mun demanded that he come to Iran. And that was pure politics. And it worked against Ma'mun and his thinking, because I was watching a clip just yesterday that it showed that people from his Astan went to the farthest southest point in Iran, to a village that the people are so oppressed and so mustazaf that is unbelievable. And there are places that they even borrow money to eat bread. And people go buy $50 worth of steaks and it doesn't bother them. You know, that there are other people in the world that are actually being deprived of the simplest things in life, which is bread. And the guy who was actually doing this clip, he came to make a qurbani of a guswan and give him some meat, because they don't get to eat meat once a month even. And he says, what is your biggest wish in life? And they said, go to Ziyarat Ali ibn Musa Raza. And he says, okay, we are from his Astan and we brought you food and we grant that wish. So this village of entirely 50 people are going to go by the bus to do the ziyarah. So you see, for us, that when we go ziyarat, it's just an ordinary thing. We go make ziyarat and talk to our Imam, and we give some sadaqah, we give some money, and they spend the money this way to taking people who have never, ever even imagined that one day they're going to go to ziyarah for their Imam, and they believe in it. So that's why I'm saying the Agha Ali ibn Musa Raza, in my opinion, is the biggest blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could give them people of our nations, because that the Shia of Afghanistan, the Shia of Pakistan, the Shia of Hind are my brothers and they're part of our religion. So inshallah, we have this opportunity to understand the responsibility that is put on our shoulders and appreciate it. And when we go to ziyarah, understand that I've seen people who put a little money, maybe $1 equivalent, in the Zariha Agha Imam Raza, and it piles up, and every day they take these bags and bags of money but it gives you a heartwarming clip like this, that they spend this money to take this money as a gift, that is a ni'mah to people who deprived of everything. And this money is spent well, inshallah. So I congratulate Agha Imam Zaman on the birthday of his Jad, and inshallah we become more and more satisfied with our responsibility and be able to do our responsibility, inshallah ta'ala. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد و آل محمد وعجل فرج. For the love of the Holy Prophet and his holy family, please recite the second salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa'ajjil faraj. For the reappearance of our awaited Savior, please recite the third salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa'ajjil faraj. The haram of Imam Ali ibn Musa Raza alayhi salatu wasalam, whatever time of the day or night that you go, it's very difficult to get to the zari of our Imam. And it is our wish that Imam Ali ibn Musa Raza alayhi salatu wasalam invite us to his haram again, that we get the sa'adat to go and do his ziyarat. So I have a small manqibat I'll be reciting, but before that, there are a few verses of poetry that I would like to recite. ہجوم مومنین روزے پر جو رہتا ہے روز و شب، ہجوم مومنین روزے پر جو رہتا ہے روز و شب، تمہارا روضہ اقدس غموں کا سب کی درماں ہے، تمہارا روضہ اقدس غموں کا سب کی درماں ہے، کوئی زائر زیارت کو جائے ان کے روضے پر، کوئی زائر زیارت کو جائے ان کے روضے پر، صدا کے واسطے موسی رضا ان کا نگہباں ہے، در آل نبی سے ہٹ کے بخشش ہو نہیں سکتی، در آل نبی سے ہٹ کے بخشش ہو نہیں سکتی، سمجھ نہ پائے جو کمبخت یہ کیسا مسلمان ہے، سمجھ نہ پائے جو کمبخت یہ کیسا مسلمان ہے، خراساں سے چلے آئے خراساں سے چلے آئے ملک سنتے عقیدت سے، خراساں سے چلے آئے ملک سننے عقیدت سے، علی موسیٰ رضا جو منقبت کا میری عنوان ہے، بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات. اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد. مدحت کی آج بزم سجانے کی رات ہے، مدحت کی آج بزم سجانے کی رات ہے، موسی رضا کا جشن منانے کی رات ہے، مدحت کی آج بزم سجانے کی رات ہے، آتا ہے اب امام ہمارا جہان میں، صلوات. اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد. آتا ہے اب امام ہمارا جہان میں، رستے میں ان کے آنکھیں بچھانے کی رات ہے، مدحت کی آج بزم سجانے کی رات ہے، یارو دیے خوشی کے جلاؤ جگہ جگہ، یارو دیے خوشی کے جلاؤ جگہ جگہ، تیور منافقوں کے بجھانے کی رات ہے، مدحت کی آج بزم سجانے کی رات ہے، ہو فخر کیوں نہ اپنے مقدر پہ اب مجھے، ہو فخر کیوں نہ اپنے مقدر پب مجھے، خدمت میں ان کی مدح سنانے کی رات ہے، مدحت کی آج بزم سجانے کی رات ہے، کھل کر امام ضامن و ثامن کا ذکر ہو، صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد، کھل کر امام ضامن و ثامن کا ذکر ہو، مردہ ضمیر ذہن جگانے کی رات ہے، مدحت کی آج بزم سجانے کی رات ہے پے کرے رضا خدا حضرت رضا، صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد، ہے پے کرے رضا خدا حضرت رضا، ہر لمحہ ان کی یاد منانے کی رات ہے، مدحت کی آج بزم سجانے کی رات ہے، مانگو در رضا پہ دل و جان سے سہیل، مانگو در رضا پہ دل و جان سے سہیل، دل کے مراد آج تو پانے کی رات ہے، مدحت کی آج بزم سجانے کی رات ہے، ہو فخر کیوں نہ اپنے مقدر پہ اب مجھے، ہو فخر کیوں نہ اپنے مقدر پہ اب مجھے، خدمت میں ان کے مدح سنانے کی رات ہے، مدحت کی آج بزم سجانے کی رات ہے، صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجہ۔
من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، الحمد لله رب العالمين الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله، والصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه وأفضل بريته حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد، اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الذين أظهر الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا، اللهم صل على محمد. قال الله تبارك وتعالى في محكم كتابه، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، وإنك لعلى خلق عظيم، صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. First of all, we thank Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for granting us this great and wonderful opportunity tonight to celebrate the birth anniversary of our beloved Imam, Imam Ali ibn Musa Rida, alayhi afdal salati wa azka salam. We first extend our words of felicitation to the beloved Imam of our time, Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman, Arwahuna lahu al-Fida. To our great scholars, the Marathi, and of course to all the entire Muslims and Shias of Ahlul Bayt across the globe on this auspicious occasion that marks the birth anniversary of our 8th Imam. Indeed, as you all know, brothers and sisters, Imam al-Rida alayhi salatu was salam when you look at his life and his history or biography, when you look at the journeys that he undertook in his life, you realize that indeed Imam al-Rida played also a major role in us receiving this great message of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu was salam. That is why you realize that millions of people within Iran and across Iran and far from Iran, tonight, if you are in the holy city of Mashhad, you realize the Nuraniyat and the illuminations that will be coming out of that blessed and the holy dome of our beloved Imam. Tonight, inshallah, on this auspicious occasion, I'm going to talk about the akhlaq of Imam al-Rida. What can we learn, we as the lovers of Imam al-Rida, from the akhlaq of Ali ibn Musa al-Rida? Because we look at each and every Imam has a title. And these titles, they are referred to as a divine title given to them by Allah through our beloved Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Now you look at each one of them. You have a Mujtaba, Shaheed, Baqir, Zainul Abidin. Each and every member of Ahlul Bayt has his own title. And this title has a lot of information to send across to the lovers and the followers of Ahlul Bayt across the globe. Now tonight, my topic of discussion, which is the akhlaq of Imam, is going to base on this title, which is divinely given to Imam al-Rida alayhi salatu wassalam. Now this word, the Rida, as you all know, simply means satisfaction. So if an Arab person tells you, Raditu bik, it means I'm satisfied with you, or I have accepted you. Now our beloved Imam is giving this name because of certain reason, and that will go a long way in telling us about the akhlaq of Imam al-Rida alayhi salatu wasalam. Now you know very well Imam al-Rida's grandfather was Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. And his father, without a shadow of doubt, is our beloved Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salatu wasalam. And according to most of the historians, you know Imam al-Rida was blessed with only one son by the name Imam al-Jawad. Now Imam al-Rida, as I mentioned earlier on, and I want you to lend me your hearings, when you study really his life very well, there are a lot of lessons of akhlaq that one can learn from him. Number one, before we go to the question of Rida, you look at the mother of Imam al-Rida. And who was the mother of Imam al-Rida? There is a question of akhlaq there that we have to learn. The mother has a lot of names, but the title which was given to them by our beloved Imam is Tahira, when she gave birth to Imam al-Rida. Now this lady, Taktum, and that is the common name, but she has another names also. There are two riwayas as to how she ended up in the house of Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam. The first riwayah said that this lady was bought by the mother of Imam Musa al-Kadhim, Hamidatul Musaffa. That this lady, she's a slave, without a shadow of doubt. She is a slave from Nubia. Nubia, historians have a lot of opinions concerning what is Nubia. Some are of the view that Nubia is around Sudan. Others are of the view that Nubia is in Tunisia, a small place in Tunisia. Some are of the view that Nubia is a place in Egypt. But Nubia is around North Africa or that area of Sudan. Now, one riwayah said that this lady, Hamidatul Musaffa, she bought this lady called Taktum, who was a slave. And then she realized the attitude and the conduct of this lady was unique as compared to the attitude of all other slaves who were bought during that time. Now then this lady, she said to her son, Imam al-Kadhim, alayhi salatu wasalam, take this lady, this according to the first riwayah, take this lady, because this lady is so unique. You can see her behavior, you can see her attitude, you can see the way she conducts herself. Take her, and in future, you will give it to your son for mine. Second riwayah said, no, Imam Musa al-Kadhim himself bought this slave and this lady into his house, and he brought her to the house. And in fact, one riwayah said it was a divine message which was given to Imam Musa al-Kadhim to buy this lady and keep her in the house. One riwayah said Imam alayhi salatu wasalam saw in his dream, that is Sheikh Mufid reported. He saw in his dream Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam appear in his dream. And Prophet said to him, while he was in that dream, this according to our Imam reporting this riwayah, Prophet came and he gave him a piece of cloth made of silk. And when he gave him this piece of cloth, he asked him to open the piece of cloth. When he opened the cloth, he saw the face of this lady tattooed in that cloth. And then Prophet ﷺ at the end told him, give this lady to your son and she will give birth to the best of people. So now we look at Imam al-Rida, that his mother was a slave. This is also another lesson to each and every one of us. But the topic of tonight, as I mentioned, we have to look at the akhlaq of Imam al-Rida. Now, Imam al-Rida, this title, Rida, satisfaction. One day his son Imam al-Jawad was asked, why your father is called the Rida? Then he said he is called the Rida because Allah is happy and satisfied with him. Prophet is happy and satisfied with him. Ahlul Bayt are happy and satisfied with him. His lovers are happy with him, and his enemies are happy with him. Sometimes if you put up a good behavior and good attitude, even those who dislike you, they will come back and praise you. So Imam al-Rida alayhi salatu wasalam, he is called Rida because even his enemies, they tend to love him. And one example you know very well, Imam al-Rida lived in the time of 3 caliphs. But the one Khalifa who spent much of time with Imam al-Rida was Ma'mun al-Abbas. Ma'mun, of course, he realized the previous Imams, they used that opportunity of being in Medina and they were imparting the knowledge of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. What Ma'mun did, Ma'mun thought, if I would invite Imam al-Rida to Khurasan, Merv, where he used to live, and then I will have a close eye on Imam al-Rida, he will not be able to spread that message of Islam. Now Ma'mun, he brought Imam al-Rida. And you know very well, during the journey of Imam al-Rida from Madinah al-Munawwara to Khurasan in Iran, there are many things that happen which I don't want to tackle more of those things tonight. One of the things that happened was Imam al-Rida, wherever he would arrive or reach, many people would come and embrace him and take a lot of lessons from Imam al-Rida. Until Imam al-Rida got to a place called Nishapur. Nishapur is in Mashhad, around the Khurasan area, where today we have this Firoza. They said the best Firoza is the Firoza of Nishapur. Now Imam al-Rida, when he arrived in Nishapur, many people were coming to see Imam al-Rida. Great scholars of the time, of the moment, of that particular place, they were coming, they were visiting Ali ibn Musa Rida alayhi salatu wasalam. Now, when these people came, they requested from Imam al-Rida to teach them something. Then Imam al-Rida said, no, there's nothing to teach you. You know your scholars. Ask me whatever you want. Then they insisted. Then Imam al-Rida started to teach them the riwayah which we know as it's called Silsilatul Dhahab, the golden chain riwayah, where Imam al-Rida alayhi salatu wasalam said, La ilaha illallah wa Hashn-E. Faman dakhala Hashn-E amina min adhabi bishartiha wa ana min shurutiha. Imam alayhi salatu wasalam said, this word La ilaha illallah is my fortress. Whoever enters into my fortress, he or she is protected from the punishment of Allah. But this fortress has conditions, and I, Rida, is one of those conditions. So now I want you to focus with me and pay attention. I want us to look at the akhlaq of Imam Rida, because Hadith taught us he is one of the conditions of La ilaha illallah. In other words, if you do not know Imam al-Rida, and you do not understand who Imam al-Rida is, your La ilaha illallah will not be complete La ilaha illallah. In other words, your wilaya to Imam al-Rida, your allegiance to him, it has certain conditions. If those conditions are not met, then it will be a problem. Today, you realize that, brothers and sisters, we have problems of akhlaq. We have Ahlul Bayt. We're not supposed to have akhlaq and conduct or behavior problem. But we realize that now and then we claim to be the lovers of Ahlul Bayt when our akhlaq doesn't conform with the akhlaq of Ahlul Bayt. Our behaviors are contrary to the way and manner Ahlul Bayt used to behave. Why do we have this majalis? We normally have this majalis to learn from these great personalities so that we will be able to implement and impart those lessons into our life. And we realize that even our beloved Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam, Allah praised him because of his akhlaq. Said, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ. Now, without taking much of your time, let us briefly ask ourselves, what is akhlaq before we take lesson from the life of Imam? What is akhlaq? What is behavior? Because many times a person will come to me, this guy doesn't have akhlaq, me I don't have akhlaq. So now what is akhlaq? We need to know the meaning of the word akhlaq. Then if we understand what is akhlaq, then we'll be able to put it into our lives. There are two opinions between scholars on what akhlaq is all about. I want you to just lend me your hearing. I will not take much of your time, inshallah. Two opinions on what akhlaq is all about. The first opinion is such that akhlaq is not something that is distinct from one's existence. Akhlaq is something which is within you. Akhlaq is something that you don't go out and learn. You are born with akhlaq. When you came to this world, you came with good behavior. This is first opinion. The second opinion, they said, no one is born with akhlaq. Akhlaq, you learn it from your community. You learn akhlaq from your society. You learn akhlaq within your customs. You learn akhlaq within your culture. And the one who is of this opinion is a very great scholar, Arab, by the name Dr. Muhammad Jabir al-Abidi. He wrote a book, Aql al-Arabi, the Arab intellect or Arab mind. In that book, he analyzed these things, whereby he's saying, no, to me, when we talk of behavior, akhlaq, is something that I learned from my community. I am an Arab, so when I start mixing with my Arab colleagues, or my Arab family, or communities, I then tend to learn about akhlaq from them. And he gave an example. He said, for instance, when you look at Persian, Iranians or Persian language, according to him, they've got what is the standard of akhlaq. He said, when you come to the Greek, they've got what is standard of akhlaq. When you come to Arabs, they've got what is standard of akhlaq. For instance, he said, when you go to Arabs, what is value to them and what is akhlaq? He said, value to them is majid, like personality. If a person is got a very great personality, irrespective of whatever the personality might be, they said, MashaAllah, you are the best one. Muruwa, they call dignity and respect. But now when you go to Greek, according to him, Greek said, no. When we talk of akhlaq, according to us, akhlaq is that, when you look at inside a human being, it's made up of three major forces. The first force is the intellectual force. The second force is the force of desire. And the third force is the force of anger. He said, according to Greek, which is truly within Greek philosophy, you'll find it there. Value and akhlaq to them is that if one is able to let the power of the intellect control and overpower the power of anger and the power of desire, to them it is akhlaq. But now let us come to Islam, then we go to the school of Imam already. When you come to Islam, Islam doesn't say akhlaq is something you learn from the community or society. Islam said, I am born with akhlaq. You are born with akhlaq. You came to this world with your akhlaq. ولد ومعه فضيلة. ولد ومعه akhlaq. When you came to this world, you came with akhlaq. They said what Islam does is one thing. Islam only provides you with what is called taqwa and tell you use that taqwa to finish your akhlaq. That is why Allah said, وَتَزَوَّلُوا فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى. Prepare your provisions in this world. But the best provision is taqwa. So now Islam, why Islam is of the view that we are born with our akhlaq. And we don't learn akhlaq from him, you don't learn akhlaq from me. So because when you say justice, adalat, you come to Muslim, you ask him what is justice, and justice is something good. Go to Jew, justice is good. Go to Christian, justice is good. Even unjust, no justice is good. You find a person doing injustice, but at the back of his mind, he knows that justice is something good. So that is why they said, no, I am born with my akhlaq. I read the scriptures. I do not read the scriptures. I was taught about akhlaq. I'm not taught about akhlaq. Justice is value. To disrespect. See, Haji Mustafa, then I disrespect him. I don't need Islam to tell me if you disrespect, this is the repercussion. I know disrespect is not acceptable in any community and in any society. So this is why they said we are born with our akhlaq. And what does Allah do? Allah said, no, you need taqwa to finish your akhlaq so that you will become the best of people who behave well in each and every society. And you know, they said, all the attributes of Allah are about akhlaq. So whoever behaves well, he becomes the manifestation of the akhlaq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now that is why you come to Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. Our eighth Imam had a lot of encounters in his life. He met a lot of people in his life, especially when he moved to Khorasan. One thing which is very unique about Imam is that, which I see it is written there on the boxes, Imam Dhamin. Okay, in Urdu, in fact, we say Dhamin. Now, when you look at why Imam is called Imam Dhamin, it's about the akhlaq of Imam and the way he approached people who always used to come to him to ask questions and do things. You know, we have this culture among Shias all over the world, whereby if I have to travel, say I want to go to Saudi Arabia for Hajj, or I want to go to Dubai, or I want to go for Ziyarah, what do? I get some amount of money, I put in a piece of cloth, I tie it. He said it was a lot of barakah. Why? They said, I'm imitating Imam Raza alayhi salam. How do you imitate Imam Raza? There are two reasons why we call him Imam Dhamin. The first reason is that, you know, Ma'mun with all his tricks, he could not win, he could not manage to get Imam Raza. Yes, Imam at the end, he married the daughter of Ma'mun, Habiba, but still never happened because he thought Allah will bless Imam with a child and that child will succeed. Then Allah decided to give Sabika the son by the name Jabal Adem. Now Ma'mun, he minted the name of Imam Rida in the coins during that time because he was the Khalifa of Abbas. So now people, they used to love Imam. What they will do, they will keep these coins in their pocket to have the barakah of Ali ibn Abu Talib. That is why when you travel, you also put this Imam Dhamin, that is the meaning. You put that money, imitating that what was minted in those coins to have the barakah of Ali ibn Abu Talib. That's why if you put that money there, but with the intention of Ali ibn Abu Talib, Allah will take care of your situation in your life. There is another riwayah that said no, Imam Rida is called Imam Adami. You know, as Imam was getting to Mashhad, he met one hunter, and this hunter was busy hunting, and then Imam stopped him, and he asked him, where are you going? Of course, Imam was with his entourage. Then the hunter told him, no, there is this deer I want to kill. And he kept on going behind the deer, trying to kill the deer. Then Imam called him. And Imam said to him, why do you want to kill this deer? He said, because I'm a hunter and I want the meat. Imam said, okay, this deer is having baby deers. Allow the deer to go and feed the baby deers and come back. When it comes back, then you have to do what you want. Then he looked at the face of the Imam, he said to Imam, now if you allow the deer to go, will the deer come back to me? You see, I'm going behind the deer now and then. Will the deer, Imam said, if you trust me, allow the deer to go. If you don't trust me, you can kill the deer. Now, Alhamdulillah, he listened to the advice of Imam. Imam said, I will not move an inch until and unless the deer comes back. Now he waited. This deer went and fed the baby deers and came back with all the baby deers. Then he looked at the face of Imam. Then he said, I really believe you are the son of the Imam. So the second riwayah said, he is called Damin because he is the guarantor. He guaranteed it. That's why he called Imam Zohbe. You go to him, he guaranteed you this. You know, there is this poet by the name Abu Namus. Abu Namus used to recite a lot of poems for Abbasi during that time. So one day the lovers of Imam Rida came to him and they said to him, you've been making a lot of poems for the Abbasi, but you're not saying anything about the Imam. Then he looked at them and he said to them, the one whose father was given khidmat by Jibreel, what can you say about him? Now let's go into the akhlaq of Imam Rida. I want you to learn from the akhlaq of Imam Rida, brothers and sisters. You know, Imam Rida in his journey to Mashhad, whenever they would eat food, he would not segregate. They would sit around together and eat the food. With the slaves, with the companions, with everybody, no special plate, everybody they will sit together and eat. Then one man saw it and he came to Imam and he said to Ali ibn Musa Rida, why are you mixing with these people and eating with them in the same plate? Then Imam said, why shouldn't I do? When we have one Allah, we have one father, we have one mother, and the superiority is only in our deeds and action. This is the akhlaq we need to learn from Ali ibn Musa. You know, Ma'mun came to him and he said to him, you Rida, I know you to be knowledgeable. I know you to have taqwa in Allah. I know you to have this and that. He was trying to praise Imam. But Imam is this type of a person, no matter how you praise him, you never get carried away with the praises. Sometimes, of course, you can get carried away when you are praised. Now, Imam looked at the face of Ma'mun and he said to Ma'mun, you know what makes me proud? Ma'mun said, I don't know. He said, every single moment I'm able to worship my Lord in Salah, that moment is a proud moment for me. Then he said to Ma'mun, oh Ma'mun, you should know that I am to be a humble person in this world so that I will be elevated in that world by Allah. That is why Kulayni, in this book, he reported about the akhlaq of Imam al-Rida. And this is very, very important, brothers, to us. Whereby Kulayni mentioned some important akhlaq factors concerning the life of Imam al-Rida. He said there are certain factors that Imam al-Rida was known of. He said, number one, whoever asks Imam al-Rida to say something about Allah, Imam will never hesitate to say it. He said, number two, Whenever people were in the midst of Imam and they will start talking, Imam will never cut you or stop you from talking. Because sometimes I will be talking to you or you'll be talking to me. Before you finish talking, I will stop you. Or as you are busy talking, I will be interjecting. I will be cutting you. He said Imam would rather never interfere or interject whenever a person was talking. And then number 3, he said Imam Rida alayhi salatu wasalam, whenever he is sitting with his companions, he will never stretch his feet because this is bad akhlaq if you do that. It sends a bad signal and a bad message. Said Imam will never do that. And then he said number 4, one of the akhlaq of Imam Rida is that when he was in the midst of people, even if he was tired, he will not lean and sleep. It's also bad. You know, sometimes you're sitting with people and then you feel like you are tired as you are busy discussing and then you lean on something. So he said, this is one thing that also we learn from Ali ibn Musa Rida alayhi salatu wasalam. Said Imam Rida will never wait for you to greet him. He will always start greeting. Sometimes we meet each other, I'm waiting for you to greet me because you are the boss. But Ali ibn Musa Rida, they said he will never allow you to start. He will start greeting you. That is why it is said one day a guest came to Imam. As Imam was sitting with these guests, they were discussing things. All of a sudden the light went off. Then the guest was stretching his hand to pick the light and fix it. Then Imam said, no, you are my guest, and guest is the guest of Allah, and every guest is loved by Allah. I will not ask you to do it, I must do it before. So now these are some of the akhlaq of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam that we have to emulate into our lives. Because if we claim to be their lovers, and then let us look at the way and manner they conduct themselves. That is why Imam Rida mentioned, the iman of a person will not be complete until there are 3 sunnahs. Sunnatun min Rabbih, wa sunnatun min Nabiyyin, wa sunnatun min Waliyyin. There are 3 sunnahs, 3 traditions that you have to put into your life for your iman to be completed. Number 1 sunnah, Imam said, sunnah from your Lord Allah. Number 2, Imam said, sunnah from your Prophet. And number 3, sunnah from the Wali. Imam said, what is the sunnah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That we need to have it into our lives so that Allah tabarak wa ta'ala will make sure our iman is intact and our iman is complete. Imam said, wa sunnatun min Rabbi. The sunnah from the Lord is at-tawakkul ala Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is to have this trust in Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They said, whoever has trust on Allah, he will never and ever be let down. Number 2, sunnatun min Nabiyyi. What is the sunnah that you have to learn from Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam? Said, mudaratun nas, proper way of interacting with people. Because interacting with people is something that we need to learn about it. If one doesn't know how to interact with people, they say there are 3 qualities of the one who knows how to interact with people. The first quality is jadhab. Any person who is able to interact properly and has good akhlaq is always attractive. He's always attractive. Number 2, the person who knows how to behave and interact properly is always open with people. And number 3, the one who knows how to interact properly, he always gives people excuses before he takes them on. And that is the akhlaq of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. That is why one day Imam Rida was sitting in a Khurasan. And then many people came to visit him, Ali ibn Musa. And one of his akhlaq, which I think is very, very important for us. As these people were coming, they were all his followers, they were coming from far to get fatwa from Imam. Imam all of a sudden stood up when he saw them coming from far. And then they were telling him, Imam, sit down. He said, no, you are bringing blessings to me. I have to stand for your respect. That's the behavior of Ahlul Bayt. That is why it is said, whoever emulates the akhlaq of Ahlul Bayt, they will always make sure they cover him in their doors. So we ask Allah Ta'ala to help us, inshallah. We ask Subhanahu wa Ta'ala to make it easy for us to emulate the akhlaq of Ahlul Bayt, inshallah. We ask Allah Ta'ala to give us the blessings of Ali ibn Musa Rida, inshallah. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين